truth and life. Here is the Brother Leon Show. You better recognize.
What's going on, listeners? This is your boy, Brother Leon. Today, man, God has opened up a door because I'm not going to lie, man. I've been trying to end season 2. But the one thing that I want you guys to understand and know is this, is that I think God wants to say some things. I think some things need to be said. So now interviews that I've been trying to get in the past are now popping up out of nowhere. Seriously. So let's go on in here. Man, the one thing that I can say right now is that God is working. And the reason why I say God is working is because now the Brother Leon Show is pivoting in a place where you're going to begin to hear different voices from different communities. And so today on the show, we're going to be hearing from a young lady today. Her experience is much different from any other woman's experience. And I want to bring her on here so that she can share her life story. And once you hear her life story, you're going to see what I'm getting at and what I'm trying to bring out. Because the one thing about this show, I'm going to just tell you this from the door. I am a Christian. But this show, the Brother Leon Show, is not a Christian show. Because we have had different people on here who are not Christian, who don't even believe in Christianity. But the purpose of this show is to give voice to people who are different from us, because I believe that as a Christian, our worldview needs to be broad. And so this is the reason why I bring various people on, because I believe that they need to be heard. And so today we're going to have Diamond coming on today. And she is definitely going to give you a perspective in which you've never seen before. And we're also going to deal with the whole thing about alopecia as well in another interview. So I'm looking forward to that as well. And then once we do these interviews, we're going to wrap up season 2. I'm going to close it out. But today, I just want you guys to understand and know where we coming from and what we bringing. And we're going to bring you truth. We're going to bring you difference, but we're going to celebrate one another. So today is a day of celebration. Hold tight, guys, as I bring you Diamond. Okay. All right, guys. We got Diamond coming to the stage. What's going on, Miss Diamond? Let me give you some applause, baby.
Hey, what's going on? How are you?
So I just want to say thank you for coming on today. You know, because
thank you for having me.
I'm not going to lie, you are a godsend. Because I have been believing to have different types of interviews, and you will definitely be a unique and astounding and phenomenal interview today. I'm believing that.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it, King.
No problem. No problem. Let me give you some applause, Queen. So I just want to start off with the first question. Who are you?
I am Diamond. I'm from Cleveland, Ohio. I feel like I'm a great person. I am loving. I'm caring. I make mistakes. I try to fix them. I'm human. I think I'm just human. And that's me. I'm in healthcare. I graduated from media and broadcasting school. I have a business with my mom. I'm trying to do a lot of things, especially for my community. I have my own little podcast, 101 with Honey, where I'm interviewing heterosexual straight black men that are trans attracted. So I'm trying to dip my hand in a lot of things for sure. So yeah, that's me.
I like that. I like that. So hey, tell me about that podcast.
So my whole center around is Black men's mental health, for sure. I know how it is when you are different because I'm trans. So I know how it is when people look at you different or things of that nature. I understand how I have more male friends and female friends, and just hearing their plights and how they feel as individuals. I see a lot of times that they're overlooked or dismissed as Black men. And even when it comes to the queer community, how a Black man cannot explore his sexual preference or things like that without being deemed as forever being gay for the rest of his life. They're not allowed to explore any type of sexual fantasies or anything like that. So I don't know. I just like to have that type of discussions and understanding that even when a Black man is trans attracted, he's not gay. He's just attracted to a different type of woman. So I just like to educate people into that spectrum so they can actually hear from a man that's navigating that space.
Wow, I like that. I like that. What's the name of the show again, and where can people catch it?
It's called 101 with Honey. It's on my Instagram page. I have 2 interviews set up right now. My Instagram page is Nerdy Girl with the I, Honey. Honey Girl, yeah.
Okay.
And I definitely, I will send you the link to that. So,
All right. Thank you. I definitely want to check that out. So how long have you been navigating on Clubhouse?
For about 4 months. About 4 months now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, 4 months. It's a different spectrum in the metaverse for sure. I definitely had to figure out things quickly. Navigating this space as a trans, because even in my everyday life, my walk of life, I don't really have the same problems as I do on Clubhouse. But then oftentimes I let my personality speak for itself, and I'm receiving a lot of love on here. It was a little rocky at first, but I even started my own club called Problematic Nerds, and I'm on more bigger stages, having conversations and dialogues with people. And yeah, I think I'm doing good so far for my 4 months for sure.
Yeah, you definitely bringing the fire. You definitely bringing the fire on these Clubhouse streets. Let me give you some applause.
Thanks, I appreciate it.
No problem. So I want to ask you this, because you just stated that you are a trans woman.
Uh-huh.
So my question is, how did you come into the realization that you were a woman? How did you come into that realization?
Well, to be totally completely honest, everybody navigates their womanhood differently. I knew at the age of 5 and 6 that I was different. And even though I had a rocky childhood, I felt like I was in the wrong body. I didn't feel comfortable with the clothes that I was wearing at a certain time. I definitely went through trauma in my life as being young, and with like my parents and things like that. But I've overcome things that I went through when I was younger, and I did the work and did what I had to do to be within my happiness. So I changed myself around the age of 17 and never looked back.
Wow. So you decided to transition at 17. What was that like at 17? I mean, you dealing with high school and things of that nature. How was that?
Well, I was ending with. Well, to be honest, I already kind of looked very feminine. So when I started to transition, it was a slow burner. I definitely was more so like, I'm transitioning, but I'm taking things slow. So I often wore my thing was a regular white t-shirt and jogging pants until I started to feel more comfortable within my hormones, therapy, then to really dress the way that I wanted to. Because I looked at as a white t-shirt and jogging pants as being neutral, like gender neutral, and girls and guys to wear that. So I definitely took things slow. I didn't rush anything, and I just wanted to make sure I was comfortable with everything. So even in high school, that's what I wore until I graduated, and then I started to wear more feminine things, feminine clothing, and all of that stuff, so I felt more comfortable.
Okay. All right, cool. Thank you for that. Let me give you some applause, because you were able to navigate through high school and then go on the way to college. Like, along the journey, did you ever feel like, maybe I might be making a mistake?
I never felt like I was making a mistake. I do feel like sometimes I would be upset at God at certain times, low points in my life, because I was just trying to figure out, why did He put me on this earth the way that I was? Why can I just be a regular woman? I feel like my life would have been more easier, but I feel like sometimes you have to be in embarrassing moments in your life for God to use you. And that's what I chose to do with my life. I felt like I could bring awareness to my struggles and what I went through to help the next person. So I definitely feel like I have helped people in my, in my transition, in my journey, to help them in their journey. Because things that happened to me, if it didn't happen, it would have never made me who I am today. So,
yeah. Thank God. So let me ask you this. Now that you have transitioned, how do you see men and women today? Now that you have transitioned, how is your worldview when it comes to, male issues, female issues? How do you see that now?
I definitely see it on both spectrums. I see what the damaging issues when it comes to men and the women, especially in the Black community, because I have a lot more male friends than female friends, but I understand just being a woman, how women can try to navigate. I just think that just how the toxicity in our community, which haven't allowed us to have the proper education, the therapists and stuff like that. So we masked a lot of things, and I still see the same rhetoric over and over again. I think we're all crying out for help. I think the thing for us is really mental health, and it's like, how can you love someone else if you don't love yourself? So I think oftentimes that's overlooked, and I think that we all want love. We all want to be seen. And I think once we unpack the mental health issue and really tackle that, then hopefully relationships and friendships can be better within our community.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Let me give you some applause.
Thank you.
Yeah, because I had the opportunity to interview a transgender male, and he was basically telling me, like, when he transitioned over and he was in male spaces, hearing from the male perspective, he saw women on a totally different spectrum, because now he's in a male space and he's starting to see, like, wow, and so it's crazy just, hearing your story and comparing it with his story as well. So how has dating been?
I've been in relationships. My last relationship was like 8 months ago. I was in a 4-year relationship. It's not hard for me to date. It's just about vetting the person properly and understanding, for him to understand, or him understanding me as being a trans woman and how he feels about that. So I have to do a lot of vetting, a lot of talking, communication to make sure his mind is on the same plane as mine to even want to deal with each other. So, but for right now, I've just been focused on my business with my mom. I've just been focused on myself and things that I'm trying to do, building my club up, building within community. So I just been kind of like focused on that. And if God plants somebody in my life, then I'll lead with that and see what that looks like. But right now, I'm just focusing on me.
Okay, I totally get it. Let me give you some applause on that one. So, hey, do you see marriage in your future?
I would love to hopefully be married at a point, but it has to be genuine. It has to be built with love, compassion, loyalty, in a spiritual plane with each other, as us building a bond together and want to live the rest of our lives with each other. So I don't just go for marriage just to go for marriage, just to say I'm married. I want to go with it with an open mind, with saying that this is the person that I'm going to be with for the rest of my life. And then hopefully we will have understanding with each other that we'll get married. But yeah, I want to get married for sure. I feel like who don't, but I want to do it in the right way though.
Yeah, I totally feel you on that, because I think a lot of times people, they want the wedding, they want the ceremony, but they don't want the marriage.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, it's a whole lot of things. And definitely when you get married, marriage only magnifies what you really are on the inside, if I could say it like that. So, you definitely have to understand that, once you take on that marriage journey, it's one of them things where you have to choose it every day. And a lot of times it just can't go off emotion alone, if I could say that. Even relationships just can't go off of emotion alone. You gotta have logic. You gotta put some things in it where it'll stand the test of time, because I thoroughly.
You got to really know that person.
Yeah, you do.
You got to know that person. You have to vet it properly and really know that person. And sometimes people rush things and don't really even know the individual properly, and that's why things crumbles, because you don't know the person that you're truly with. So that's why I said I don't rush nothing. I really want to understand each other, and then once we have that understanding and we have that foundation and trust, and we want to build on that, then a marriage will just come in naturally. Yeah. But I don't want to force anything. I don't want to just to make it look good to everybody else. I want it to be genuine, be honest, and be it for me. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So let me ask you this, because I've heard this. Why is it a lot of times that trans women have a hard time disclosing? And we always talk about, when should you disclose?
People have to understand we often get attacked when we disclose, and there's proper ways into doing so. I don't care, like on my social medias and platforms, it says that I'm trans. I speak out in the open, loud and proud that I am. But oftentimes when I'm in face value with people, I have to lead with my safety first. So I don't have to disclose that I'm trans to everyone, because it's not everyone's business, right? Yeah. So it's just about being in certain places at certain times. When men try to talk to me, if I'm not interested, they don't need to know that I'm trans. I could thank them respectfully and keep it pushing. But if I do decide to talk to someone, I'm going to let him know what's going on. I'm going to be open and honest with him, but in a safety realm, right? I'm going to make sure I'm safe while doing so if I'm doing it in the open. I just really think it's safety, because we get killed, we get abused, we get beat up. And I think that people, they want us to tell the truth, but at the same time, they don't know what comes with the truth, because sometimes people can try to harm us if we tell them the truth. They can feel some type of way if we disclose that we're trans, because men are attracted to me. And even though they're attracted to me, me being honest and open and letting him know, he can get angry that he was attracted to me and want to beat me up. So, yeah.
Yeah, I totally see that. I totally see that. Now, and my thing is that, if you're in a club and you guys are just dancing and stuff, it ain't going to get serious or nothing like that, then I'm like, nah, you ain't got to open your mouth. But if, y'all getting ready to lead the club together and it's going to be something else, like, you might want to say something.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
But we're not a monolith, though.
Yeah.
So just because I do certain things doesn't mean that the next girl would do certain things. So you have good people and bad people in the spectrum of the world, right?
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I just can only really speak for myself and how I navigate my spaces, and I always want to navigate it with honesty and just, in safety. That's it for me. Being honest and being safe is not my top priorities when meeting people and building rapport with people.
Okay. I want to, the next question that I have, there are some women who say that, okay, I'm dating guys. I don't consider myself a part of the LGBTQ community. What do you say to that? Because there are some women who are on that spectrum. They don't consider themselves a part of the community, but they date heterosexual guys.
You mean trans women?
Yeah.
If that's how they navigate it, I get it. Because again, we're just changing genders. I can be a heterosexual trans woman, and I can just be myself as being a heterosexual person. I know that I'm trans, but I don't want to navigate in that space, because a lot of times people like to correlate identity and sexuality as the same thing, and it's not. Sexuality, the LGB, is who you choose to lay with and have sex with. As a trans woman, you can be pan, you can be bi, you can be lesbian, you can be, so many different things. And we're just changing identity. So if that's how they want to walk in that navigation, they should be allowed to, and there should be no judgment with that.
Okay, I definitely like that. Thank you for that. What would you consider things that mess up most trans relationships? Like, a lot of times we hear like, oh man, so-and-so broke up. What's some of the things that breaks up a lot of trans relationships?
Guys, mental health. For people, mental health, we're dealing with us. Maybe not understanding what's really going on in the fights and the struggles that we go through as trans people. And oftentimes we can get with men, and they could want to love us, but not be mentally ready or prepared to deal with a woman like ourselves, like myself. I'm sorry. And I just think that, again, that's why I do the things that I do and I do the work that I do to bring it to the forefront that it's okay to love who you want to love and be with who you want to be with, and not worry about somebody judging you because you're loving who you want to love. And I just think that that's the thing. I think a lot of people do a lot of judging. And once you get the judging aspect out of it and people can just live their natural lives, then I think more relationships can work out.
Yeah.
Especially in the Black community.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I think a lot of times, we fall in love with the imagination of a person, the assumption, the potential. And a lot of times we take and judge people on their past. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And so betting too.
Yeah.
You have to bet. You got to really know the person and know who they are. And sometimes people can have a sexual relationship and really not know the person and say, hey, I want to be in a relationship with this person just based off of sex and not really knowing that person. But that's just not for trans women. That's for everybody. So I think that you have to vet properly. You have to know the person that you're with. You have to go by faith. And I just think that hopefully everything will work out. You never know. Everything, you take a risk with everything. So make sure you vet properly and you know that person before you just get into a relationship with that person. Because oftentimes I see a lot of relationships in not just trans relationships, but the overall spectrum of a relationship.
Yeah, exactly. I think a lot of times what I've seen people, they build a relationship off of sex and sex alone.
Right.
And I'm like, sex is like icing, but icing isn't the whole cake. You know what I mean? You can have a cake without icing. Icing does good for the cake, but the icing will not hold up like the cake will. So
I think it's easy to have sex, but it's not easy to find somebody to match your vibe. It's not easy to find somebody that's going to be loyal to you, that's going to be mentally connected with you. And I just think that people will want that. If you can't love me for me, and I can't, know your mind and you know mine, I don't want to just have a sexual relationship with you. I feel like I can bring more to the table than just a sexual relationship. So, and that's just me, and that's how I navigate my space in my body, because my body is my temple, and I believe in exchanging energies, and I just don't want no bad mojo in mine.
Yeah, exactly. I like that. So let me ask you this, because I talked to JJ about this when we were interviewing. What's your perception of men on the down low? Because I know you mentioned earlier about men who are trans attractive. Could we call them men on the down low, or is that like a detriment?
No.
Okay.
No, I would never call a man that is trans attracted on the down low, because he viewed me as a woman, just a different type of woman. So that's why I often try to do the work so men wouldn't feel like they have to hide their lives to be on the down low and really love who they want to love. We often understand that our community weaponized the word as being gay for a Black man. Anytime they try to say anything or try to, tell their feelings or show their feelings, they're being looked at as being, gay. And I think we need to stop weaponizing that word for men in general. Like I said, they're oftentimes they're not allowed to even explore their sexuality, where a woman can, explore her sexuality and be viewed as a regular straight woman is when she finished. But oftentimes when a man does it, he's forever as being gay. And I think that when people hear the word gay and see it, they don't want to be next to it. People fear what they don't understand. So I just think that that's how they look at and view things. And I'm saying, hey, Black man, love who you want to love. Do what you want to do. Stop letting people control your life. If you lose people along the way, they just didn't love you for you. And that's okay. It's okay. That's what you call an evolution. Sometimes people may be knocked off in that evolution. So it's okay to just be yourself. Now, for myself, I don't want to talk to DL men. I don't try to police nobody's sexuality, and what they choose to do is just that I don't want to be in that spectrum, but I don't judge them. You do you. I just want to allow myself to be with that, and that's how I navigate it. So if you are a DL man, I'm, how you choose to live your life. This is how you choose to live your life. I just won't be a part of that lifestyle with you.
I like that. Thank you for that. Because I think a lot of times, man, we put a whole lot of people in jeopardy when we decide to live a lie and live secrets. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know, because I mean, not only the fear of somebody exposing you, but also I'm like, nobody talks about sexually transmitted diseases anymore, really.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I'm like, yo, come on, man. We got to start, you know, not putting people at risk and everything. Because I look at it like this, especially in our community, the black community. We got to come back to, we need to start using condoms, having that talk. Like, hey, let me see your sexual, test results. Here's mine.
Right.
You know, we got to come back to that, because there's a whole lot of things out here, other than pregnancy, that people can end up catching or end up getting.
Right, and just being safe. There's nothing wrong with being safe.
Exactly.
There's nothing wrong with getting tested, especially if you know you're a sexual active person. Why not just to make sure that you're safe and your body is correct? You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So I think that people should, again, it's about safety, and that's how I feel. So, yep.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. How do trans women want to be seen in the world?
As human.
Okay.
They want to be loved as human beings. They want to be seen as such. They don't want, I don't want nobody to police me being a human. I don't want somebody to say, oh, I'm less than a human because I navigate my space differently among shores. I think it's okay to value human life, and you want your life to be valued. I want my life to be valued. You don't have to agree with my lifestyle, but just know that I'm human just like you. I make mistakes. I fall, I get up just like you. I bleed the same as you. I don't think that, but I navigate my space just a little differently than you, but I'm human. And I think that we just want to be seen as individuals. You don't have to live in my lifestyle. You don't have to be around my lifestyle, but just respect it and do what you need to do for your lifestyle. And I think that we all can, come together as one. Just stop policing me and let me be an individual and be human.
Exactly. Let me give you some applause on that one. I like that because everybody just wants to be. I totally get that. So here's the next question. And this is the one, I've seen rooms like this on Clubhouse. What is the big divide and what is the strife when it comes to black trans women versus cis black women?
I think what it is for black women as in a whole is their existence is being played with, right? I think when it comes to, just imagine being a black woman and you're trying to navigate your space, but people deem you as being less than valued, right? You're not valued because you're dark or you're black, but they want your aesthetics. They want, your hips. They want your lips. They want things like that. And, a lot has been taken away from them to where I just feel like it's like fight or flight at this point. I think that now it's like the trans spectrum has came in, but trans women always existed. It's just now they may feel like, oh, this is another spectrum for us to be more diminished as women. And it's not, I have a strong black woman that's my mom, and I learned from her and I love her, and I'm not here to take away from her and how she navigates her space. Like, I would never understand how it is to birth a child, how it is to have periods or things like that. And that's fine. And they will never understand how it is for me to walk in my transness. And I think that we both are women and we can live in the same spectrum as womanhood. So you as a cishet woman and me as a trans woman, we are navigating differently, but I feel like we can still love on each other. So I'm not going to always come with ill will or malice towards black women. I'm going to love on my sisters because those are my sisters. Those are the blueprint for me as being a black trans woman. So I can never not give the blueprint love and support, and their flowers. So, and that's how I look at it. I mean, I love black women. I'm here for you. For sure, I'm a black trans woman, and I just hope that the energies can be the same on both spectrums.
Yeah, I like that. But I think, the crazy thing is that, I've been in rooms where the discussion was, jealousy. And I'm like, how is there jealousy?
Because regular men are attracted to trans women. I think women in general are jealous of each other. It's sad to say, but they are. And it can, again, it's just can be, again, that they can be just attracted to a person. And sometimes, women can feel like, natural born women can feel like we're a threat. And, that's just on both ends. I don't know where's the competition. I'm not looking for competition because I feel like, again, if he can't love me for me and want me, girl, have him. Girl, that's how I look at it. But, I don't know. I just think that if we all come together more and stop all of this jealousy and this arguing and bickering, we can figure things out and we can just tackle things within our community for real, instead of all this weird stuff that's going on right now.
I totally agree.
Back and forth.
I totally agree. Let me give you some applause. So let me ask you this. Has racism, affected the Black trans community?
Yeah.
Talk on it. Speak on it.
Racism has, for me, has been a detriment into our community, period. And I think oftentimes people try to put us together as in a trans community, and it's still racism in our community. We don't get the same flowers as Caucasian trans women. Oftentimes we see articles and standpoints, and even the Olympics, and I think they had the swimming, I forgot her name, but the swimmer, and that has nothing to do with Black trans women, but also we get the backlash of that, and how a lot of white trans women navigate in their privilege. We're not privileged. We're still, regardless if you may not know I'm a trans woman or not, I'm still Black. Yeah. I'm still walking around as being a Black woman. How they view me as a Black woman is just also I am a trans woman, and we still live in that race. So I'm fighting for my Black women and men. I'm fighting for my trans men. I'm fighting for the gay men. I'm fighting for, what I'm saying? That's what I'm looking at. And I think that I want people to stop placing us in a box and thinking that we're all in this together, because we're not. I don't navigate the same spaces as a lot of white trans women. And then also, even with a lot of white trans women, they may put on some lipstick and, comb their hair and walk outside, and I think a lot of Black trans women, they're more so into their looks, they're more so try to look pleasant to the eye. And I don't know, I just think that it's just the frustration that people have with the transness experience, and they get mad, but it really don't have nothing to do with them. I just think that when they see these articles and the movements, it's not really oftentimes that it's Black trans women, but we get to fight for a lot of frustrations that's going on right now in the world when it comes to the trans experience.
Yeah, definitely. Let me give you some applause. Here's another question. It's not another question I have. I know it's not part of the ones that I sent you. How do you feel about Caitlyn Jenner? Because a lot of people are putting Caitlyn Jenner as the spearhead, the representative for all trans women. What's your take on that?
I will not disrespect Caitlyn, but I will say she, with privilege and power, may put you on a pedestal within a narrative that is false. I wouldn't say she does not understand what transness is, because she's living in her truth and her experience, because we're not a monolith. But she is not a person to represent me, and she's not a person to represent the Black trans experience. I would not deem her as someone that I would feel like that's going to represent for me. The girls that I look up to is more like Janet's mom, T.S. Madison, Laverne Cox, a lot more trans women that's actually doing it out here, especially that's a part of not only the trans experience, but the Black experience as well. So those are people that I look up to. Caitlyn Jenner is not a person that I will look up to, because I don't live in a place of being white and privileged at the same time. Yeah,
I like that. Thank you for that. So let me ask you this. We got to talk about classism and colorism. Has those affected the Black trans community as well?
Of course. Of course. I think that the colorism is on a spectrum for not just the trans community, but for people in general. If you don't look a certain color, you may not get the same grace. We see that as well, just within the Black community. If you are not a lighter, bright, or white, it's colorism in that. If you might deem less attractive. Like I said, I think that's what the Black experience of being a Black woman, of not being deemed as being valued or appreciated because the color of your skin being less than. So yeah, that plays a role into our community as well.
Yeah, I got to ask you about sex work, because I know some people are in, sex work, and there are some segments that frown on people that are in the, the content creation or sex work. What's your view on that?
The experience of being queer, the experience of being ostracized and not having no help, no support. And oftentimes we may see a lot of Black queer people and homeless, where now they're just trying to survive, especially when it comes to Black trans women. When they're navigating and trying to survive, I don't do sex work, but I know I have sisters that do it. And, they don't have the same privileges that I have to have a loving family to love on me. Their mothers and fathers kicked them out at a certain age where they had to survive. And oftentimes people look at us as a sexual fantasy where they'll want to have sex with us, but may not love us openly. So I think a lot of trans women are coming to that terms, and they know their place to a certain degree, I guess. Even though it's sad, but it's true. And they feel like if you just want to have sex with me in that manner, well, you can just pay me and run me my money. And it sucks that they're not allowed to work at regular jobs, or if you don't have the passing privilege, you can't do certain said things, because it's not about your work ethic. It's about you being a trans woman. So that sucks as well. I don't judge nobody. Hopefully we can get to a terms where people can be more comfortable with trans women and they can navigate different types of spaces and sex work. But right now, I think most of my trans sisters right now are just trying to survive.
Yeah, everybody's trying to survive. Definitely. So let me ask you this. When you started transitioning, was it painful at any part, during the journey, taking the hormone replacements, even surgery to a certain degree? Was that painful? How did you deal with that?
To be honest, I haven't even had surgery yet. I've only been taking hormone pills. Mm-hmm. I can get mood swings because when you're taking estrogen, you can have mood swings. But for me, it makes me feel comfortable. I don't know. I haven't really had that struggle with that experience just yet. I'm supposed to be getting surgery soon. But yeah, it was very easy for me to navigate how I'm navigating it now. So I didn't really have a problem with in my transition at all. I'm still in my transition, but yeah.
Okay, so let me ask you this: Are like the hormones, are they covered under Obamacare, Medicaid? Because I know,
because right. Depending on the type of insurance you have, but yeah, it's a thing. I think that people know, they did the study. We exist, so they were going to have the proper care for our existence as being trans women and men. So we have the estrogen and the testosterone for trans women and men to be within that experience. And some states often offer the bottom SSR surgery for trans men and women, and also help us even with the top surgery, putting implants in or taking them out. So yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, I totally see that now. Thank God that you got help on that, because I know that there was legislation, trying to block a lot of that.
Yeah, that don't mean that people ain't gonna do it under the table. I've seen that, but again, that people trying to erase our existence, and we've been here for thousands of years. They tried to say this was just something new, and it hasn't. There are deities as trans women. Even in Africa, they had they and them. It wasn't man and woman. It wasn't female and male. It was they and them. So I don't know. I just think that they try to say it's a colonizing thing for just the trans women, but no, trans women have been here for a long time now, and they were also praised as goddess in different other countries as well.
Okay. All right. I like that. I like that. So let me ask you this. Like when you get the shots, I mean, you know, do you have the shot option? Is there like a pill option? Is it painful?
There's both pills and shots.
Okay.
There are both. I got shots for me every Friday. I get my shots.
Okay. So it's like the frequency is once a week or 4 times a month?
Yeah, once a week.
Okay. I totally see that now. All right. Thank you for that. So let me ask you this. You know, how has Hollywood affected, you know, because I'm not gonna lie, before Pose, I was ignorant to the trans, you know, gender woman. I think probably had it not been for Pose, I probably wouldn't even know and everything. So how has Hollywood impacted inclusion and even putting a spotlight on transgender women?
A blessing. I think this is the evolution that people need to see. I think that we need to show that we exist. I love the area that is going for, if we're just only speaking on trans women. I think that we should be included into things because this is an everyday natural life for us. So to see Pose is a wonderful experience to actually look up the trans experience or see how the trans experience can be operated. But even if you want to do more education, you have Google. You also have YouTube videos that do documentary on trans women. If you want to learn about it, different types of human beings, I often go on YouTube to look at different cultures and see how they navigate their spaces. So there's nothing wrong with being educated, and there's nothing wrong for us to be seen as individuals, as humans on the big screen like everybody else.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I was like, Lord, I ain't gonna lie. That first time I saw Janet Mock, I was like, oh my God.
Right.
I was like, man, she's bad.
Right. And it's okay for men to say, hey, I'm attracted to you. Doesn't mean that I have to sleep with you, but wow, you are a beautiful individual, a beautiful woman, because that's why a lot of times men can say, oh, wow, she's attractive. It's okay. We're women. We're just different types of women. And that's where I want people to understand, like, hey, my experience is my experience, your experience is your experience, but these men can love us just the same and be attracted to both of us.
Yeah, I like that. So I can just say, hey, both of us are from different generations. How is it that your generation can teach my generation about this whole pronoun thing? Because this is totally new to me. Even the whole term cisgender. I mean, it's totally new. It's like, dang, you know, I got to unlearn and relearn again. So how is it that your generation can teach my generation about the whole thing about pronouns and you know, gender and sex and sexual identity? How can we learn?
Okay, so I would say Google. I would say, like I said, do the work. I would say we all want respect. I would say it shouldn't be, if you respect me as an individual, it shouldn't be hard to pick up on it. You want your respect as being an individual, as a Black man, or just an individual, period. I just don't think that it's hard to respect somebody else. And if you cannot respect them, then you should not be in their area. But oftentimes people like to be too prideful and not respect people. And then, you know, you can end up blocking your blessings. So I think it's okay to respect individuals and learn something new. It's about evolution and learning. Sometimes you have to unlearn things to learn something new, right? So every test is not going to be the same. Everything is not going to be the same. We have to go within time. So it's okay to learn me. It's okay to learn what's going on to make sure you respect me properly, just like I would do so to you.
Yeah, exactly. I like that. So where do you see the community in the future? I mean, you know, it's a whole lot of strides that they've already made. You know, where do you see the future? Because, you know, you're definitely younger than I am, and, you know, your generation is right here, right now. So how do you see the future?
I don't know. Hopefully I can see in the near future that people can stop policing people's love, stop policing people as being individuals, love on who they want to love. And I think that we can all be in a safe space as being individuals and living in our individuality. everyone is not the same. And when you come to that understanding, I think that you can operate your life a little more differently than hating all the time, when you can focus on yourself and how you navigate your space. So if you navigate your space well, there's no need for you to focus on how I'm navigating my space unless I'm a detriment to you as an individual and I'm messing up what you got going on. But I think you could just let a human being be them.
Yeah, I like that.
And hopefully we move forward with positivity.
Yeah, definitely. So, you have definitely opened up my eyes, Miss Diamond, to a whole lot of things. And I think it's just going to push me even harder, to advocate, not only to advocate, but also to learn, because I come from a Christian perspective. And so my thing is that, can we start loving our brothers and sisters in the trans community like Christ has called us to, love our neighbors, seeing them as individuals, seeing them as people, and not being so worried about what this person is doing in their bedroom, what that person is doing in their bedroom. It ain't none of my business, in all honesty.
But what I choose to do in the bedroom doesn't neglect me being a great individual and a great human. For me, I help a lot of people in my community, and I don't want to be just judged because that you can judge me because I can let you know I'm trans. I think that you can love on me because of my spirit, who I am as an individual, and not because of who I choose to lay with and who I choose to be with and how I present myself. Because like I said, oftentimes people can block your blessings because you never know what I can bring in your life and be an angel in your life. So
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I like that. Be the angel in somebody else's life. I like that. So hey, tell me, what's the business that you and your mother have together?
It's called Marietta's Angels. My mom has a master's in nursing, and I'm in the healthcare field as well. And we made a company to where hopefully we can. It's fairly new, but we had our first client. It's more so like being a companion for an independent living care. So, if they need help around the house, if they need to talk to somebody, if they want to go to a movie, if they want to do anything in that realm, then we'll be those angels to help them out, to be there, to listen to them. Because most times, people get a little older and their kids, they move, they have their own lives. So, if they need anyone to talk to, we're here to listen.
Yeah, I like that because definitely our seniors need that. A lot of times our seniors feel abandoned. So, yeah, they definitely need that.
Exactly.
So, hey, can you leave us with some words of wisdom?
Words of wisdom. I want to say that it's okay to love your neighbor. It's okay to be in community with people. It's okay to let people love who they want to love. It's okay to love yourself and unpack your biases as an individual to learn how to love somebody that's different. And oftentimes I feel like sometimes God has to embarrass you to use you. And maybe the embarrassment was just to know that, damn, I may be biased to other individuals, and to use you is to say, hey, wow, like they're loving, they're fun, they're human just like me. So I think that when people take out the pridefulness of them, then they can see a whole nother different light with other individuals and how they live their lives, to understand that we are human just as well as you are, and we can be in the same spaces and we can love on one another in the same areas without being fearful of them.
Yeah, exactly. I like that. Thank you for that. You brought the thunder with that one. Let me give you some thunder. So, Ms. Diamond, how can people follow you on social media and Clubhouse?
You can follow me on social media, Nerdy Girl Honey with the I, and my club one Clubhouse is Problematic Nerds. That club is for everyone, no matter if you're straight, gay, trans. It's just to be in a club with like-minded individuals like you that love anime, superhero things. We have watch parties. We may go to Comic-Con. So it's a lot of things that we're trying to do right now. It's a fairly new club, but it's definitely growing. I'm very proud of myself. But yeah, my Twitter is honey, HONEY _ Cowan, COWAN. And yeah, I'm open to questions if you want to hit me up or anything like that. That's how you can reach me for sure. And I appreciate it, Keith, for the platform.
Oh, hey, no problem. Hey, yo, let me know when y'all do that Comic-Con. I'm trying to get back to a Comic-Con.
Yeah, we trying to. I want to do it within a community, like a family. You know, I definitely know that sometimes being a nerd, you may not, be a loner nerd, especially guys, black men. So I wanted to build a space for all of us to really just come together and be like, hey, I like the same things you like. Hey, we can talk about this because, being a nerd is not just being smart. It's about something that you like, that you study, and it doesn't matter what it is, and that's true to you as being a nerd. So like an ESPN person can be a nerd. The Beehive could be a nerd. If you are a fan of the Real Housewives of Atlanta and you talk within a community about that said topic, that's being a nerd. So, yeah, like it's just being with like-minded people that like the same things you like, and you want to talk about that topic, and you analyze that topic and such. So, yeah, I definitely say, drop by.
Yeah, I definitely drop by because I'm looking for a group of people that like to talk about Marvel Legends and collecting action figures and comics and stuff like that. Because that's what I do when I'm not doing this.
Yes, our club would be that, but you got to find them people that come in because they pop in, pop out.
Yeah,
for sure. I'm not more of the comic nerd, but if you say watch an anime or watch the superhero shows or anything like that, I can tell you from that standpoint. But I'm not deep as in the comics, so I feel like we all have little individual stuff that we bring value to the topics and things like that. Yeah.
I love it all because yesterday we just watched Morbius yesterday. So me and my son, that was something. So I'm looking forward to having that conversation in Clubhouse.
How was
it? It's good. I think the thing is that if you don't know the history behind Morbius in the comics, it may leave a bad taste in your mouth. But if you know the history of Morbius and how he came to be in the comics, and you can appreciate the movie even more. So I would say, look, before you go to the movie, go on YouTube and look at the history behind Morbius.
Oh, so basically what you're telling me is that if you do a little more research, you can really love on that topic. If you do more research on that topic, right? You can know it you can actually value it a little more when you do the research and you do the work to understand that movie, right?
Yeah, it's the same thing with the Batman because like the Batman movie, I like Batman, but I ain't gonna lie, I think the Batman movie was too long. But the stories that they took it from, I was like, yo, I seen these. So it was good. It's definitely
Batman's my favorite superhero. Like I love Batman. Oh my god, I love Batman. I love Storm. I love X-Men. When I was younger, I loved X-Men so much because I felt like a mutant. I felt different, and I just felt like that was my niche. I love X-Men. I love how they navigated that space as being like, hey, I'm a different human being, and even if y'all don't love me, I'm still gonna love y'all, and I'm still gonna fight for y'all.
Yeah.
As in the humanity, and so much they got hate from being different, but they still did the work, and that's how I've always felt as being trans. Like, hey, you may not agree with my lifestyle, you may share my lifestyle, but me being different, I'm still gonna do the work for you, brothers and sisters. I'm still gonna show up and show out for you, because at the end of the day, I'm fighting for a whole spectrum of us. I'm not just fighting for myself. I'm fighting for everybody. So, and that's why I say, God know my heart. I'm going to continue to do the work. And if I don't reach 100 people, 50 is fine for me.
You're gonna reach them. You're definitely gonna reach them. And I will say this: they bringing X-Men back. I'm loving it.
I know. They're doing the series on Disney Plus, especially the 1994 series. Thor.
Yeah, they bringing it back. That's coming back.
Yes, I know. I'm so excited. Trust me.
So yeah, but I definitely I see a whole lot of good things, for you and for your generation and everything that you're bringing, because I look at this generation right now is going to be the ones who stop, who basically stop this whole oppression thing, and I see it, because I look at the baton that you've been given, and I look at the sword that you've been given, and it's like, you're running your race, you're overcoming obstacles, that we could not overcome. So I'm thankful for who you are and what you're bringing, to our people. So I just want to say thank you, Miss Diamond, for your gift and for being used by God.
Thank you, and thank you for having me, King. Thank you for allowing me to be on the platform to tell my story, and hopefully people can understand better how the trans community is. I'm an individual, so I just want to be loved and love on others. That's it, and I appreciate you, King, for just having me and let me do me for sure. And I hope that everybody can take away from things that I said and use it in their lives.
Yeah, exactly. So hey, give us again, how can people follow you on social media?
You can follow me on my Instagram, nerdy girl with the I, girl honey. And you can follow me on my Twitter, honey _ Cowan, COWAN. And on my Clubhouse, if you're on Clubhouse, Problematic Nerds with a Z. And come on down. Hit me up, follow me, I'll follow back for sure.
All right. I love you. Let me give you some applause. Thank you. I just want to say, hey, you have yourself a blessed day, and I will definitely catch up with you later on.
Okay, thank you so much. I appreciate you having me.
All right. You be blessed. Thank you.
Okay.
All right, guys. That was Miss Diamond. So follow her on social media. Follow her on Clubhouse. I think the one thing that I'm going to say is this interview was definitely needed because we need to hear from our trans brothers as well as sisters in the community. I did an interview with Dr. Elijah Nicholas, and he was the first transgender male that I had the opportunity to interview, and he's also a Christian. And so today, God is bringing it full circle with Miss Diamond, who is a transgender woman. And I'm not going to lie, I love hearing her perspective and seeing her perspective and individuality. And so the one thing that I'm going to say, man, is God has made us unique. And I love what the Bible says, that we are fearfully and wonderfully made in the image and in the likeness of Him. And so the one thing that I can say about God is that He had us in mind as a gift. He had us in mind as being precious in His sight. And so, hey, I want you guys to be blessed, and I thank God for this interview and for Miss Diamond's perspective. So, guys, you be blessed.
Walk in the truth that makes you free every day. Follow Brother Leon on all social media outlets.